Went on and we threw our weight around trying to get the Affordable Housing Trust Fund bill passed, which was one of the early victories. We organized in various Senate districts all across the greater Boston area and had a number of meetings and brought senators and representatives to those meetings before several hundred people. And we became known as the yes-no people, because we would have met with them in advance, told them that we wanted them to make affordable housing a top priority, and we wanted them to demonstrate that as a top priority by voting to support the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And they'd come before us, and we wouldn't let them make any speeches. We'd say, look, here's the question. Are you going to vote yes or no for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund? And we had scores of those meetings and exercising the power, and ultimately the Affordable Housing Trust Fund was passed, and it has generated well over $100 million for affordable housing over the last 6, 7, 8 years in the greater Boston area. It's a major victory. It's a great thing. And the way we do this, we have a series of house meetings among the institutions, which means small group meetings inside of RPC, which is one of the institutions, and we work through what are the issues. And we do that in all the institutions. We have about 60 member institutions. And when you do those house meetings in all the institutions, we look at what surfaces towards the top. And what surface towards the top, such as health care and elder care and affordable housing and so forth, the top 3 or the top 4 that surface, that's where we found common agreement. And that's how we begin to mobilize to move forward and work on some of these issues. The biggest victory was around health care. And I think that's where the biggest mark was made, where we organized and were major players in helping to make universal health care, near universal health care, a reality in Massachusetts.
The campaign we've been the most active on and have had the most success with has been our health care campaign, and that's been ongoing. We started in 2005, organizing around trying to change the way the state delivers access to health care, and helps to pass the 2006 health care reform law in the state that now means that well, what that law has done is taken a rate of insurance that was at 7 or 8% and dropped it to about 4%. So hundreds of thousands of people who didn't have health insurance 2 years ago now have health insurance as a result of that work. So that's been our largest kind of effort, and we've been very involved in implementing that law and making sure that it's implemented in a way that helps people and doesn't hurt poor people with the individual mandate. We've been really engaged with how that got implemented in the state and what constitutes affordability, and making sure that there's enough money to pay for the reform going forward is all something we've been very much engaged in.
You can just talk straight to me.
I should say at the outset that I'm just a participant in these two organizations. I'm very enthusiastic about CMM, and I'm very enthusiastic about GBIO. They seem to me, from an outside perspective, that GBIO is concerned with power relationships and making a power stand with local elected officials, with state elected officials, and they organize congregations and organize within congregations to achieve the power that they need to win on certain defined issues. CMM is more programmatic. It's concerned around a lot of social justice issues, refugees, for example, and it does programming with youth around that. And as I was saying, it seems more like CMM is the sociology of interfaith, and GBIO is the political science of interfaith.